problem is, man, you got a big heart, Lionheart. I mean, you're strong as a lion, man.
Welcome to the Blood, Sweat, and Cinema podcast. Today, myself and Zach have Sheldon Lettich, writer of Bloodsport, writer of Lionheart, director of Lionheart, and a whole bunch of other ones. Harrison,
Hey.
the famous Joshua
Yeah.
from Lionheart. Harrison Page, welcome.
Thank you.
Pleasure to have you on here. Thank you for coming in. Sheldon, thank you for coming in.
And looking forward to this one for you.
Let's set the pace here. Day one. How do you guys meet?
Well, okay, now we got to go back a few years. It's the first time I met Harrison. It was New Year's Eve, a few years before we made the movie. My friend Freeman King, who was Harrison's, who had been roommates with Harrison, and Freeman's in the movie. He's in the background. He's one of the extras there. Said, "Hey, for New Year's Eve, we're going to the Palomino Club, which is a country western bar in North Hollywood, and I think Ricky Nelson was there. Ricky Nelson was performing that night, and I'm going to be meeting my friend Harrison Page, who we haven't met. I had not met Harrison, didn't know much about him at all.
Did you know he was he existed?
No,
No. Oh, so
No.
this is the very
he
first
was just the friend of Freeman King.
Got him.
So actually, my wife and I went there, and we met Harrison for the first time. And then a few years later, Jim Tarzia was cast in the Lionheart, and he's the one who picked Harrison Page. Actually, we had a number of people trying out for the role, including, Felton Perry?
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
good time. We worked together.
Yeah, Felton tried out for it also. But Jean-Claude was just fixated on Harrison.
Lionheart! King of the jungle!
He just loved Harrison. I did too, but Jean-Claude in particular wanted Harrison. And we were doing the running the lines just to see what his acting was like. And there's a moment where you beat your chest. That's what I was just going to. That's
Right.
what I was going to say. He beat his chest because he was just so passionate about the lines that he was delivering, and we kept watching it over and over again. And John Bell would say, "That's the guy. We got to get this guy."
That's it. I like that.
So let's just back up a little bit so we get the story straight. So you guys met at the club in Hollywood,
Yeah,
and then you didn't see each other again. And the next you'll hear of Harrison is that Jim Tarzia has him pegged as one of the guys that played the character Joshua.
right. Yeah.
How do you recall the audition? How did you find out about it? Did they reach out to you? Like, how did it come about?
Well, no, what I heard my agent actually sent me to it. But after reading it, I knew that there were some things I could do as that person that we just looked at, who sometimes all I have to do is just look at the damn screen without crying, because I remember those scenes so vividly, and I'm in and out of it. Amazing. Anyway, so I went to read for it, and I picked the Reunite or something, an old nasty.
Right.
Remember?
Oh, yeah. You were laying on the floor. Laying on the floor. Okay. The other actors are sitting in chairs, and Harrison just trying to get into the headspace of this character Joshua. He was on the fucking floor like a real homeless person, like a real bum. And and then of course we did the audition, and Jean-Claude just loved the audition.
Well, the chemistry between you and Jean-Claude is just, it's through the roof. And I don't think, to be honest with you, I don't think there's been chemistry in any of his movies that have come
That kind of
close.
chemistry.
Not that kind of chemistry.
Not that.
You care about me.
When you did the audition, did you read with Jean-Claude?
No, we had a reader. Did we?
We had
So who was conducting the auditions? Yourself, Jean-Claude?
me and Jim Tarzia, and oh crap, I'm blanking on his name now. The guy who was just up there. He was a real martial artist. But what's his name?
Yeah. No,
I just showed it to
Jeff Speakman.
Jeff
Because Jeff Speakman actually told us on our podcast interview a few weeks ago, you allowed him, he asked you to read. He was reading. But he asked you, would you allow him read or something? And for the auditions, you allowed him read.
No, yeah, he was a reader.
He was.
That's
Jim Tarzier brought him in to be the reader. Basically, read Jean-Claude's lines against these actors we were bringing in.
Yeah.
So that was, that was just.
What were your thoughts on Speakman at that point in time? Were you just someone else reading lines, or did you see anything?
I saw something. Yeah, I saw something in him that I thought would translate to the screen. But I was not about to hire him to do anything simply because we're here casting Lionheart.
So did you give him the role at the end of the movie because he did the reading?
The producers wanted me to give him a role, wanted me to put him in the movie somewhere. So I gave him that line towards the end of the movie.
Well, you know what's funny is when we talked to Jeff about that, I had asked him, it's too bad that they didn't know that you were a martial artist, because he told us that he wanted to be seen as an actor first.
Right.
And I always wonder if you guys would have known his capabilities, if you would have given him a chance to do even more, which, I mean,
That's possible.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
yeah.
Well, now I have not left the building.
So you walk in to do the audition, and obviously you recall or remember you a few years before previously meeting Sheldon. Did you guys recall it in the moment?
I think we
Like,
did. Yeah.
yeah.
Hey, didn't I meet you at the Pellegrino Club?
We did.
Right.
We did. So you did the audition, and then what? You just said, we'll be in touch and bye-bye, and then you got a call back, was it?
So
Or-
that's the way it works with all the actors. Basically, you read them, then
But did you have a couple of people pegged for the role of Joshua, or did you know Harrison was the one after the audition?
I had one guy kind of pegged for it, and I just mentioned his name, Felton Harry, who I knew from the Inner City Cultural Center. Wonderful actor. And apparently Harrison knew him too. But and we read him. He came in, he read, but Harrison kind of blew him away.
What was your headspace in that when you came in to audition the first time?
You know what? And I was getting to that at one point. I actually wanted to do it because I felt it was me, and my dad too, by the way, who stuttered because he was a piano player in the jazz age, and so I wanted to do something that represented him in some way or another, because he never got anywhere, because he played with Duke Ellington, and so he never got and he's never got any kind of appreciation or anything. I wanted to do something.
Yeah, now come on, man. You ain't gonna do shit. Stop it.
But when I went in to do that, all I had to do for me, and this is my own secret, I'll tell you. When I went in to do that, the first thing I had to do was say, Harrison Page, get the fuck out of the way. And I put myself out of the way.
You were Joshua.
Yeah.
No, I mean, you encapsulated that character. Thank you, Three. Just, it's so vividly I mean, the purpose of his character shines through the screen. You can just feel it.
There was so much passion just in his reading.
You can feel it. I mean, I've been crying with that film at the end since I was 8 years old. Even when I watch it now, I tear up.
Did you come up with the limp, or was that in the script?
Come up with the
The
word.
limp. The limp.
And now he was supposed to be a former fighter who.
So why the limp? What? Because it's never talked about in the movie.
Oh
So
yeah,
why?
we never really got into it. But basically, he was a fighter for Cynthia, and he was injured in a fight.
Well, the fight for Cynthia you do because you refer to it in one of your lines, but we never actually talk about the limp.
Yeah, right. But the basically.
But he says, I'm thinking about the way you did me.
Yeah.
Right.
So maybe that kind of shows he
Yeah,
got his
basically,
ass
he
handed to him.
got his ass handed to him, and he's had a limp ever since.
Yeah.
And that's why he had to stop fighting, was because his leg was injured.
Yeah.
And we might have had another line in there somewhere which got cut out. Might have ad-libbed something about it.
Yeah. Now, when you were coming to the audition, were you aware of who Jean-Claude Van Damme was?
No, you never heard of him. No, it's not because of him. I just never saw any martial arts movies, and I wasn't paying much attention.
Where did you first meet him?
On the reading, wasn't it?
Yeah, when we did the
At the
reading.
callback or at the reading itself?
Like table read.
table read.
Yeah. And what were your impressions?
I thought he was,
Yeah, he says he would not have met him before because we were using Jeff Speakman. So we read the line.
right.
And then when we did the callbacks, that's when Harrison would have met Jean-Claude.
Yeah. I thought he was a good-looking guy, and I thought he had some talent. He did. He had talent, more talent than I thought he did.
He had the eyes.
Yeah.
And the eyes say everything.
Yeah. And here's something I wanted to bring up too. That relationship between he and I is born out of knowing that in order for this thing to work for everybody, my character had to be completely opposite of him. That's where chemistry comes from in the first place. It's always about opposite. You Abbott and Costello. As you ever remember that. And that's what I did mostly. He was intense, widely intense, and I was tap dancing all around. And we were never kind of friendly with each other, but you could see it, you could smell it, you could taste it.
Yeah. So yeah, the bar scene kind of opens up a new door between Joshua and Leon's relationship.
Right.
When you see him just kind of let go, and then you're taking care of him.
Yeah.
I think that's where the trust was built.
What's your first scene in the movie? First scene in the movie?
Then we just watched this. The fort is under the bridge.
I would have to look at the call sheets.
Well, I have them actually. Yeah, here. Yeah. We could look at
Take a
them.
minute.
Yeah.
That might have been the first scene that he was in.
I think first. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, yeah, go ahead. When you first saw Jean-Claude in action, though, when you first saw him kicking ass on screen, and let's say during the first scenes you got shot together, what were your thoughts when you saw it? Because nobody had seen anything like that before.
Well, they'd been Bloodsport.
Well, yeah, of course, but I'm saying like it's in his heyday. This is his heyday. You hadn't really known who he was at the time, and then you see it right in front of you. I mean, what's going through your mind when you see that?
You know what was going through my mind? I was actually saying, how the hell is he doing? That was the first thing. And the second thing was, he was so powerful looking.
Right now, you and me.
Doing what he's doing. Because he can do anything. I mean, this guy stretches out crazy. It doesn't even look real.
And it's with grace.
Yes, with grace. So I was impressed with him. He and I,
The grace of a Baryshnikov and the power of a Kalashnikov.
he and I, there was
Good. I like that.
Yeah, there was a scene we were doing where we're in this restaurant. I don't know if it was a restaurant. No, it was outdoors, so it's a fast food place.
Right. The hamburger place.
Place, yeah.
We were doing a scene. We were doing that scene, and he's eating, and I'm looking at him eating, and I eat up all what I've got there. And there's a waiter there saying, hey, hurry up. No, pay me. And I said, I kept going.
Yeah. A real waiter, or was that a guy hired?
I was the guy hired.
That was the guy hired.
Yeah. I'm looking at. I want his food.
Yeah. And what he's done to him.
Yeah. Good. And I finally said to him, hey, man, you gonna eat that? He said, and looked at me like, what the hell? Where'd that come from? And
But that was all Ad-Lib.
yeah. And he looked.
It was not in the script.
And I said, yeah, I'll take it.
You're eating a lot in this film. You eat the fried chicken.
And that's when I said to the waiter,
Give him the bill.
give him the bill.
What's that, Ad-Lib?
Is that it? Yeah.
But no, I think it's hilarious because you see you eating in this a lot with the fried chicken and stuff. I think it just adds such a good element to the screen,
But his response to me on every time I did something like that, would you shut up? No, I'm not joking. He would say, would you shut up? I said, I can't do that. If I do that, who am I?
Right.
Yeah.
No, the character was a motor mouth.
That's right.
But did Jean-Claude get that?
He got it.
He got it, yeah. So he was telling you to shut up because he knew you were going to keep going.
Basic character. You guys were both
Because they were stepping all over Jean-Claude Lime. Jean-Claude wouldn't able to get a word in generally because Harrison be doing this for him.
But that's what makes it so good.
It wasn't on purpose.
You know?
Yeah, the crew, my cinematographer especially, was just a complete pain in the ass.
Well, he had problems with you because you were a first-time director. That's what John thought after any fucking camera over there.
Yeah, I could do better than this guy's doing.
Did you say that?
Huh? He didn't say that, but he was
He's always thinking it.
he was thinking
They're
that.
asking you why. Why do you want to pan down from?
Well, that was and Harrison was there when you and Jean-Claude are walking through downtown, right? And I wanted to start on the buildings and tilt down to Harrison and Jean-Claude, and this guy, his name was Robert New.
That's his name, yeah.
Robert New. And why do you want to show the buildings? Well, I want to establish that they're in downtown, and this ties it in. It shows that we're not just doing a shot and then cutting it in the editing room. We're panning down so we can see that they really are in downtown LA. Correct. Yeah, but why do you want to see those buildings? Bob, I want to see those buildings. Absolutely. Just do it the way I'm telling you to do it. And then, yeah, he said, we had a problem too. We were doing the scene, the nut shot, where Jeff Lankin gets punched in the nuts. And I had the camera down, kind of low, wide angle lens, so we could see everything. Basically, you could see Jeff, you could see Jean-Claude. It was all in one shot. And Bob says, I got another way to do this. And he moves the camera over, changes lenses, and you're not seeing any of this.
So he's totally not working with you.
He's totally not working with me, but he's insisting that he knows better than I do. And I finally ended up just saying,
Unleashing.
Bob, this is where I want the camera. Let's just shoot this way. Yeah, but it's going to be much better. And finally, Jean-Claude.
So Jean-Claude's hearing all this.
Yeah, wait.
Yeah, he's right there.
And he says, just put the camera where Sheldon wants you to put it.
I don't think he said it that nice, Beetle, did he?
That fucking camera.
It's not bitter.
Yeah. So when you're shooting all these fight scenes and you're looking at Jean-Claude and he's kicking the shit out of people left and right. What are you thinking? You know, like what are you really thinking? I mean, are you getting the whole concept of the fight?
Yeah, I am.
Because there's a lot of them.
Yeah, I got you. I know where you're coming from. As we moved forward in that film, more and more, I'm looking at him and I'm saying, damn, he's good. But on top of that, something was building in terms of the relationship, where I was starting to like the man, embrace his work and him. He's not just that person that he's playing. He's also Jean-Claude Van Damme. He's a person. And I started to like it. So a couple of times I said to Sheldon, we got a love story going here. And Sheldon would say, yeah, you guys.
What they call bromance now.
Hey, man, thank you very much for that, man. Look here, I'll get you back in L.A., all right? Hey, we gotta find some place to stay for the night. Man, hey, huh? Hey, look here, yeah. You ready to get rich, huh? Come on, throw a few. Lionheart, I told you the way this shit did me. Don't let it do you, man. Stay the fuck down.
But I was very impressed with him that he kept it together with all the stuff that I was doing.
I was actually going to fire the DP at one time. I didn't know that. Yeah, I wanted to, I was publicizing it. Yeah. But I told the producers, this guy just keeps giving me a hard time. We need somebody else. I want to get rid of him. And they didn't want to do that because they had a very good point. They said, well, he's the director of photography. So if he leaves, then the gaffer might leave. And a lot of the other crew people that work with the cinematographer, it's going to be a big pain in the ass. Just try to get along with this guy. And I'm sure they counseled him too. And they told him, stop giving the director such a hard time. But things never went all that well with him, even after that. But we didn't fire him, kept him on for the entire shoot.
Was there ever a transition period where people finally in the crew were like, "Oh shit, like we're doing something special," or was it like that through the entire?
It was like that through the entire shoot. With the crew people just were not. They were not thinking this is anything more than just another kickboxer or blood sport. And it really turned into something much bigger and better, simply because we had such good actors. And one thing I want to give credit to the casting director, Jim Tarzia, who's having some medical issues nowadays. Otherwise, I would try to get him in. But he really picked some great people to be in the cast.
He's an excellent casting director.
Yeah, he brought in actually, there were a few other well-known names besides Deborah Renard that came in to read for Cynthia.
I asked you a question.
But Cynthia's the one that but Deborah Renard's the one that I thought was the best, that she would embody that character better than anybody else. Yeah. That was, I got to give Jim a lot of credit for bringing in, because I was kind of set on Felton Perry. And then we met Harrison, and okay, Felton's out of the running. We're going to go with this guy, Harrison. And Felton would have done a good job too, yeah, but not quite as good as Harrison. He would not have been that lovable motormouth character that Harrison made that character. You got.
Hey, wait a minute, man. You don't give me enough goddamn money, man. Hey, look here, boy. You're a good fighter, boy, but you can't count with the shit, goddamn it. Give me my goddamn money. Hey!
What was the most difficult, intense time for you both on set? There could have been different times. Just where there's pressure.
Or pressure?
How about you just felt the pressure to deliver, or the maybe time restraint or anything?
Right. Yeah. Well, of course, I felt time restraints. I was not all that experienced. I'd done little movies before, but not a full feature. And we did start running out of time on certain scenes. And we had Eric Carson. Eric Carson was an experienced director. He was originally supposed to direct the movie, but Jean-Claude, to his credit, thought that knew that I believed in him, that I believed he was more than just a choppy socky guy.
And he saw you as a friend and said, "I'm going to push for this guy."
Yes, he
Of
did.
course.
Yeah. But Eric, so we had Eric on as a producer.
And he was the doctor.
He was the doctor. But Eric he helped me on a number of occasions where I would have fallen behind on the schedule, and Eric could basically say, you got to get this scene done now. We got to do this one before lunch. And he was kind of pushing me along to get things done.
Well, he had directed Jean-Claude in a previous movie.
In that
Go.
Right.
Yeah, so they were familiar.
And he directed Chuck Norris.
Yes.
So Eric was
And Angel Town with Olivia Gruner.
Yes. So Eric was very experienced, and it was helpful having him on the set because, I might have fallen behind in some cases, but that's what he was good at, was keeping me on schedule.
When did you feel the most challenged, Harrison?
In terms of the acting? Or?
Yes, when you just really challenged by yourself, your own,
your
own ambition to bring out the best in that character.
I think it's in that fight, that last fight, where I'm saying, Lion? Right. Yeah, I think that was challenging because I had to go someplace that I hadn't gone before. I hadn't made that much noise. I'm not a noisy guy, so I was, that whole thing really. Had you ever showed that much emotion before?
No.
No. But after that, I showed it a lot afterwards. By the way, that movie got me a lot of jobs.
Well, you did a lot of TV.
I'll tell you right now, when we were all just watching that scene and you were watching it, I saw you get an emotion.
Yeah.
You definitely got heart, Lionheart. Don't ever lose it, because you never get back.
And to me, first off, that is a true test at who you are as a human, but also who you are as an actor as well. And you have that in you. I don't think this movie would have worked without the performance. I think it would have been. I think it would have worked. It would, but I think
Without me,
It wouldn't have risen to the level that it
you and Jean-Claude, like you said earlier, the bromance.
Yeah.
You pushed each other
Mhm.
higher and higher and higher and higher,
Mhm.
and you see it.
absolutely see it on the screen. So
One thing that Harrison's agent told it afterwards, you told me about.
Oh, I did.
The agent basically said, if that hadn't been a low budget martial arts movie with Jean-Claude Van Damme starring or Nas, you would have got nominated for an Oscar for best supporting actor for that.
Take it from me. I've been there, man.
Movie.
That's true.
For now, everything about between you and JC. I mean, that's why I've said many times to me and my brother, we love these right. No, and I've said many times to my brother, man, would have been great to see those two pair up again. Right. Buddy comedy or cop or.
I think you guys could pair up again.
Yeah.
Even now.
Yeah.
We should.
Yes.
What were your thoughts on Abel Kizzy when you first?
Mouthful of Knuckles. In fact, I sent him the script. Oh, I called them. I wanted Harrison to play, I'm forgetting the Valentine.
Yeah, Valentine.
I wanted Harrison to play Valentine.
And it would have been a homage to Lionheart was the whole
about.
Yeah, so we would have had that. We still can do that.
And Harrison would have been great. And that's all.
100.
He still has. It never got done. Be great. Never got done.
No, it's still on the floor. We can still get it rolling someday.
What were your thoughts of Abdel Kizzy? He's a big guy.
The big guy.
The big one, the end fight.
Man, that guy is, again, I mean, I looked at him do what he did, and everything was, to me, as big as he is and as tough as he is, I felt the man was a warm man, but I also felt that there was a lot of humor with him. Just like with my character, I made sure there was a lot of humor.
When you shot that, sorry, go ahead.
Okay. No.
When you shot that last fight scene, how long did it take you to shoot?
Oh, I think we spent at least 2 days.
And did you shoot it in an actual tent?
Yeah.
It's actually shot inside a tent, or that was a set?
No, we shot it.
It was on a tennis court, correct?
It was at a tennis court at Griffith Park.
Yeah.
The location manager found it, and at first I was a bit taken aback. Like, it was a tennis court. This is not right at all. But then they set up the tent, and it worked out quite well. And the thing about Griffith Park is there's no problem parking and no problem bringing a whole bunch of extras on there. So
how long did it take you to shoot it?
I think it was at least 2 days.
2 days.
Yeah.
And now is there any of it left on the cutting room floor?
I have no idea.
Or is that pretty
I
much?
think we pretty much used everything that we shot for that scene.
So when you shot those fight scenes, how do you shoot them? With 3 cameras like they did with Bloodsport and Kickboxer?
Yeah.
And who was
two cameras with 3 cameras.
who was controlling that? Who was dictating that? Jean-Claude? The angles, the fight scene, the this, the that.
That was me.
You were dictating the angles and everything?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So they just came in and it was choreographed by Frank Dukes and Mohammed and Jean-Claude, right?
Yeah.
And they just put it together and you put one camera there, one camera over there.
Michelle and Frank Dukes worked out some of the initial stuff. But then Jean-Claude would always come in at the end of the day and say, okay, we're changing this, we're changing this. He would change a bunch of subs, but he always had great ideas.
You know what stood out to me in that fight as well is, to me, I've always said what makes a really good fight is the little moments in between the action. So for instance, with this, you have eye contact or whatever it is, you can see the scene playing out almost like dialogue that's not there. But in this one, you had the little cuts to where he would come back to Harrison's character, Joshua, and they would have a little talk. And
We don't need the money, man. I got us a deal. I told you, 50-50 all the way down the line.
You just got to stay down. That right there, that build up to where the final.
There's also
I watch that, still get chills to this day.
But there's the crowd also. All the experts, that's That's an important part of it because we keep cutting. Like, we've got Michelle and Voyo are there.
Yeah.
And there's that moment, at first they're rooting for.
They're stoic and they're just kind of,
they're not rooting for Jean-Claude. And then once the fight turns, when Jean-Claude starts winning, then
Kesey is the
I'm
first
the one
one.
who,
Yeah.
I'm the one who told them, okay, you guys are going to cheer now. And also the extras. We had a number of extras there. And basically that was me talking to them and telling them what to do. And then somebody, I think the clapping either started spontaneously, or I think that was Jean-Claude's idea. Like,
Well, that buildup is so perfect.
what if they start clapping? Okay, so then we got them clapping, and then we had to get the claps in sync.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it would have just sounded like an audience applauding an opera or something. So, yeah, so all of that was, it was all worked out. So basically, I think we spent one whole day just setting up the fight and doing the aftermath of the fight.
Yeah.
And the actual fight itself, I think we spent 2 days on that, doing the actual
Yeah.
my booze.
Well, I don't think there's maybe a few of maybe Rocky 4 or, you know, in the Rocky. I'd have to go back and connect the pieces in my head, but I know for a fact that fight where he actually becomes triumphant after you yell Lionheart gives me chills. And I guarantee the audience
Well, I'll tell you
Feel the
what
same way.
too. The music.
and the music.
The music.
Yes.
That
Everything aligned perfectly.
When you shout Lionheart, how many times did you do that, or was it just one shot?
I think maybe once or twice.
No, I think it was about.
You think you did a few
Yeah,
times?
yeah. I remember because I got hoarse.
Oh, okay, right.
Tweet. I think about 3 times.
All right.
Well, because I remember you telling a story when we had you in here before, or Shara, to where you said when you shot that you just kind of went down there and let Harrison kind of do his thing for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then after you're like, okay, we got some really good stuff here.
Right.
I can piece this in.
Yeah.
Because if you do watch the movie, I'm sure you've got this too, James, because you got a keen eye for this. There's one part of the movie when you're down,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's another part where you're up, and then you're back down.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever catch that? Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that makes sense as to how you said you shot, because you had him down there.
Another good moment that this is something that I totally came up with, which I don't think was scripted, was where Jean-Claude kicks Brian Thompson in the face.
Right.
I think I totally ad-libbed that. I might have discussed it with Jean-Claude and Frank, but
It's a good comedic timing.
it's a great moment. It's a great little moment.
Yeah.
And Brian has told me he's watched the film a few times with audiences, and they always applaud when he gets kicked in the face, and he loves that too.
Because he's an asshole.
He's an asshole.
I love how his eyes like roll back in his head.
Yeah, he played it really, really well.
What's your thoughts on the fight scene in the pool? What do you remember about that?
I remember Paco, and I hadn't seen Paco at that point. I thought he was very good at what he was doing, and I liked the whole scene about her.
Right. Yeah.
And he said to me, Harrison, he says, talk, something like that. He said, because when I talked, everything after, so.
Well, will you say to Cynthia, you want cold, hot, sip it.
He want hard, cold, sick bitch.
But you say we filmed that scene. That was not filmed on the day. We filmed it on the day, but
The pool fight was filmed a different day.
No. It was all, that was all the. But I'm just talking about that one moment between Cynthia and Joshua.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like the way it turned out. We were kind of rushed, and we shot it, and I thought I used the wrong lens. I didn't. We cut it into the film, and I wasn't liking it. And I told the producers, I got to reshoot that one moment between Cynthia and Joshua. And I said, I just need some. You see these trees behind them? I just need those. Have the prop people get those same trees, put them on the truck, and let's hold on to them until we can find the right place to shoot that. We were actually in downtown LA, in a parking lot, and I said, okay, let's do that scene with Cynthia and Joshua right here. Just set those trees up. And actually the crew, it would give me a hard time at everything. This is not going to work. And I said, yeah, it's just set the trees up. and shut the fuck up.
And shit, fuck. Never heard him say that before.
A couple times he's dropped it on you.
If we play that good scene, you're gonna see that the background doesn't match exactly.
Yeah, but you can't
close
tell.
enough. You can't tell.
I wouldn't have known.
So basically, yeah, I just shot Cynthia's close-up, and I shot Joshua's close-up. And I think I was actually reading Cynthia's lines to you.
Whoa.
I was, yeah. Basically, I was, and I was.
Do you have a couple of different cuts of that movie before it was completed? You know, the way that you'll have, usually the director has his cut without the sound. You know, do you have them?
I do, but that was back in the day before we had, we did the editing on these, I forgot what they're,
Oh, the top.
basically, this was all, we shot it in 35 millimeter film. We edited 35 millimeter film. So basically we had a chems. There was a chem and there was another one. So basically you had film. You had film on reels, and we cut everything together. You actually cut the film piece with with scissors, and then you tape the pieces together, and you tape them good enough so you could run through a projector, and that was the first cut of the film. So we never made a video of that. Whereas with some of my other film, like Double Impact, we actually edited on a video machine. So that's what, and so we made a copy of the entire film, and that's how I was able to show some of the outtakes from Double Impact on the Blu-ray. But with Lionheart, we don't have that. We just had, it was all 35 millimeter, and we would have had to pull the whole thing down and put it on VHS tape somehow, which would not have been cheap, and it just was not the way that it was done. So basically, we have no outtakes.
The last time we were all together was at the signing of this. Remember in Dark Delicacies in Burbank? And remember I brought Jean-Claude to your house?
Yes, you did.
I remember him, and everybody's together. Everything was with Harrison, Jeff Langton, Mohammed Kesey.
That's what made
Hacko wasn't there that night. He was at your house in the day.
Oh, okay.
And Jeff Langton was there, and then Stuart Wilson wasn't at your house either days. Or no, he was done the day, but even the nighttime, they were the only two missing. Yeah. Remember we shot all that footage? Remember they hired some guy to shoot it too?
Yeah, and he put it on the internet.
He actually didn't put it on.
He did.
Yeah, no, it's not on there.
He just put like a 30-second.
There's like a
piece.
little clip to where you guys have seen it, to where people are saying, "Hey," and like turning
It
around.
was not. It was not a long. Or
He
just,
did. He filmed the whole thing at night at your house.
Yeah.
And I called him up and said, "Get a copy of that?" He goes, "You know, I didn't do much with it, and I just deleted it."
Oh,
You're fucking idiot.
No.
Well, I want to ask this.
Yeah.
So, because I'm looking at this talk between us, on so many different levels. I look at it as a fellow actor, somebody that wants to, go as behind the business as you guys have had, but I also look at it as a martial artist and namely a fan. So I have to ask, man, when we were just watching that last scene, and we'll start with you, Harrison, because like I said, you got a little emotional watching that, right? Which I totally love that, But what's going through your mind? I mean, in totality, I'm sure a million different things, but what's going through your mind when you see out?
Oh man, I'm thinking about every scene. I'm thinking about how I performed as an actor. I'm thinking about the people that I worked with, and I'm thinking about how valuable it has been to me. I mean, I'm still today, man. I mean, I get, like you saw, I still get emotional. There's a lot of people around me who like this film, what I did that they were gonna like. My family, I was married at the time. She took a bunch of lady friends of hers to see it, and wanted me to go with them. I'd already seen, the film, and they went off, came back, and they came in the house, and they were real quiet. And I finally said, okay, did you like the film? And they said, we're shocked. We didn't expect that. Am I talking too low?
No, we hear.
So they just made me feel like, oh my God, I must have.
Because people were expecting a choppy, socky,
Van Damme,
like
tournament for
or like kickbox, something like kickboxer. But the simple story. But we had there's a lot of complex.
which, by the way, Bloodsport and Kickboxer are great movies, but I get what you're saying. They weren't expecting Lionheart was on another level.
Just the heart. And the heart, like you say, the damn, I mean, the title says it all.
Yeah.
Lionheart.
Well, and I had to fight with the producer, Sunil Shah, over that title. It was originally called Wrong Bet, which I thought was a shitty title.
Which is on the Australian VHS.
Right. It got and in Belgium, I think it got released as Wrong Bet also.
AWOL and Leon.
AWOL in England.
I came up with AWOL because Sunil didn't want Lionheart because there was another movie called Lionheart.
Yeah. An older movie, yeah.
And he didn't want people getting confused in the video store. He was just thinking about video sales. So if they're asking for Lionheart, he wants to make sure they're asking for our version of it. So he didn't want that title. So we had a little contest to see who come up with an alternate title. I came up with AWOL, and they liked Sunil liked AWOL because it started with an A. So at the top, in a catalog, it's going to be at the top. So that's.
Have you seen the trailer for the British-Irish release of it?
No, he has no choice. He must go A, W, O, and AWOL. Van Damme is absent without leave.
Right, so it's kind of worked out. Yeah. Okay, but I still like Lionheart better.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the trailer, just right before you get ready. See the letters come up, and then it shows like a kick, a punch. You know, in between every and then it's Van Damme.
Yeah.
It's a high it hides.
Yeah. But it actually worked well with his name, too, because they would go, Jean-Claude Van Damme.
They did that with Double Impact, too.
Right.
Yeah, they did, yeah.
There's two of them.
Yeah.
But anyways, Sheldon, what do you feel? What do you feel when you see that? When you watch that ending?
Watch the ending? Yeah. Just a lot of different things, a lot of different emotions. And I'm just happy that it works so well. With the music especially is what really worked for me. It's the composer, John Scott, who was hired. I had no choice. He was hired by the producers. Ended up being a great choice. I had another guy I was gonna hire who was much cheaper, but Sunil and Ash liked the movie so much. They were getting such good reactions that they decided, and they were cheapskates when it came to just about everything else. But once they saw the completed film cut together without music, they decided, if we're going to go big on the music. And I was trying to keep it down because they were so cheap with everything else. So they decided to go with they wanted full orchestra, which surprised the hell out of me because I didn't see it as a full orchestra kind of a movie. But it worked out just great.
Now, do you think that the movie would have had the same? This is a question for both of you. Do you think the movie would have been as big a hit? And obviously wouldn't have been given the same exposure, but Van Damme was becoming a big star and every movie was getting better and bigger.
Right.
Do you think if Universal didn't pick it up for distribution, we'd be talking about it today the way we are? Or do you think the fact that Universal picked it up and it was Jean-Claude's first domestically distributed movie made it much bigger than it ever would have been?
I don't know if it made it much bigger. It made it bigger because then we had Universal behind us, but Universal only released it in the U.S. and Canada.
Correct.
The rest of the world Ireland, France, all these different countries. Asia was not released.
No, I think it would have been definitely in Europe. And in Asia, it would have been just as popular because he was already popular with all the other ones.
Right.
But do you think it would have been as popular here?
I don't really know.
Do you think that the distribution from the studio was so powerful that it has that driving authority?
It did have an effect in the U.S.
Granted, people still got to go to the theaters.
Right.
and got to
That-
rent
that-
the VHS.
Mhm.
I mean, doesn't matter how much distribution. Even to this day, they distribute $100 million movies and they flop. People just go out and like it.
Right.
Everybody loves this movie to this day.
Right. Right.
To this day. Now, if there was anything you could go back and change about it, would you change anything? Would you look back, Sheldon, as a director and go, well, if we had a little bit more time and money, I would have liked to have done this differently, or maybe this, I would have done this and I couldn't do it at all because we had a certain...
I was surprised at how well it turned out. Actually, when I watch it now, like we had they came out with an ultra high def version in Europe, but they sent it to me first to give my approvals. I'm watching this thing, ultra high def. It's a Blu-ray, and I was really surprised at just how good it looked.
Yeah. Well, you guys were just talking about it on the screen. How good you thought of
It looks great.
If you look at it in
It's
some high definition or 4K, it'll blow you away.
Yeah.
Right.
It'll blow you away. It's really
So
good.
even with all my fights with Robert New, at the end of the day, he did end up having to do what I asked him to do, and the shots look good. And he was not bad with the lighting. I worked with better cinematographers since then. The lighting is it's okay, but it's not a visual feast like Double Impact. And in Double Impact, I had Richard Klein, who was an Oscar nominated.
You also had a bigger budget and more time, right?
Bigger, but even so, it looks better. Double Impact's got a great look to it.
Fantastic.
so
Actually,
it
actually, you know the what I love it, like Double Impact. We're not talking about Double Impact here, but when Van Damme fights Meloda, silhouette, and he fights Bo in the ship,
Right.
purpley look. I mean, it's very good.
Well, Richard Klein knew how to do that kind of stuff. No, we have nothing like that in Lionheart. It's basically just we just shoot the stuff, we light it up.
It's story driven.
Stories are
story driven movie.
but it's not a visual feat. Although I was
very visual. There's a lot of great.
I've always thought that, but when I watched it recently in ultra high def, I was thinking, well, shit, this movie looks pretty damn good.
Right when he's on the ship and he's looking out at the city
Right.
landscape, that's awesome. I love that part. Or when he's out in the desert, that's visually appealing. I mean, the cool thing is you guys are all over the place, and it all is visually appealing. Well, to hit a lot of different elements.
Yeah. But I picked all the locations. I set up the shots. So I do take some credit for that because even in Double Impact, I was the one setting up the shots. Although Richard Klein would have ideas that I hadn't thought about, and I would say, "Shit, Richard, that's a great idea. Let's do it the way you're talking about." With Robert New, there was never a good idea. He always had his ideas of how he wanted to do things, and I just never liked his idea. He was a guy that came from Canadian TV, and the movie would have looked like a Canadian TV show if I'd let him have his way. So, look, I'm a former cinematographer myself. That's what I was a cinematography fellow at the American Film Institute. I was a photographer for many years, so I'm pretty good with setting up shots. But when you're making a movie and you've got sets, somebody's got to light those sets up, and that's this Ad-Lib that's in the bottom there.
Oscar, did you cross paths with Billy Blanks at all?
No, never did.
No, because you weren't on set.
No, I wasn't there when he was shooting. Yeah, I never did. I liked him, but
So when you first met Mohammed Keeson, take us through when you first met him. At the audition, I guess, was
no, I didn't see him at the
He
audition.
didn't have that much interaction with Kisu.
it? No, but he was on the set all the time. So when you first met
Right.
him, like,
I think I just thought he was an imposing guy with a lot of humor, just like I said to Fee.
no, not Adele, Mohammed.
Muhammad.
Yeah.
Lionheart.
Yeah, there was with Voyer, Mohammed Keeson.
Yeah, one of the two Legionnaires.
Yeah, Legionnaires that came after him.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I thought they were great, man. I didn't have a lot of interaction with them. It's hard to form any kind of thing, but
Yeah, you didn't really have any scenes with them except on the final.
Right.
so it was, but I thought they brought what they brought to it. They brought heart also.
They did.
They did, because when they let him go, everybody brought, let him go.
I
Ron, when he stops and goes,
yeah.
he's getting out, or thinking, oh shit, he's not going to let him go. And then he lets him go.
I brought Mohammed back to that street, to that actual house.
That's what I was just getting ready to ask, because that house was still
Still
around.
there, yeah. It's just not even far from here, 7 or 8 miles away. And well, maybe 10. I took Mohammed there in November 04. No, 24.
24.
And I said, you know, go in and stand on the thing. I take a few because I said, don't worry, just go and stand there. So I ring the bell. Nobody answers. So I said, well, I guess just go and stand there. So I put him standing there, and I took pictures of the whole street, and he was telling me where the camera was set, because you see Jean-Claude coming up, because there's kind of a little hill on that street.
Even now
And
you can see
this.
it's a beautiful scene.
You see, that worked out just great for me because, and I hadn't planned it ahead of time, but it was a street. It was not flat. Basically,
There's a dip. If you're going down, you'd almost skydive onto the freeway.
Right. So the fact that it dipped down gave him that great shot at the end.
Did you have that camera mounted on the road? When he runs over the hill, you see him bit by bit come up.
Yeah, we were on the road.
So you had the camera down literally on the...
It was not a busy street, so there was not a problem. And we had cops.
So now, did you get permits for that, or you just...
We had a permit, yeah. Everything was done properly with this film. We had permits everywhere.
Who found that location?
I did.
You found that?
You're good at finding locations.
How did you find the house? Did you just go in and knock on the house and say, can we use your house? Because Jean-Claude's in there, and you're there too.
Yeah.
So how does
The location manager did that.
And there was somebody living there and said, no problem, you can shoot.
Well, the location manager, I went driving all over the city, and I knew that part of town pretty well. So I went driving around there, and I found some locations that I liked, like this apartments and that house. I found all of those.
But when you were shooting,
Yeah.
was there somebody living, or was it vacant?
I don't remember, but the location manager would have taken care of that. He would have told them ahead of time, we want to shoot here on such and such a day. And it'd be better if you folks moved out for that day. And I guess they did. I'm not involved.
No, I'm just wondering if they were in the house and you just say, can you wait in the kitchen because we want to shoot this scene or something?
No, I've done that on other movies, but not on this one. On this one, we had the location manager. And actually, the toughest location to find was the desert, where we had this Foreign Legion camp. Me and the location manager drove. We saw every dry lake in Southern California. It's miles and miles and miles. It took us days. And that was my favorite. And another thing that he liked about it, too, because he has to keep in mind, like, where we're going to park the trucks, where we're going to put the cast and the crew.
Base camp.
And what worked out great for that one, not only did it look great, but we were like 20 minutes out of Las Vegas. So we had some place we could park the trucks. We had a place we could put up the cast and crew, and that's what we did. We were in Vegas for a couple of days. And that's where that location is called June Dry Lake. And so that was the best dry lake that I found. And basically so I went out there with the construction people, the art director. Okay, so this is where we want to put our Foreign Legion camp. And they designed it, and they went out there with carpenters, and they built all that stuff. And it looks great. Yeah. And people think it's, even people that were in the Foreign Legion think it's overseas. We're really at East Africa.
Was the scene with Jean-Claude on the sledgehammer, was that improvised, or that was in the script?
That was in the script.
He's actually hammering a pole with a sledgehammer.
Yeah, if you read... Yeah, so if you read the script, basically...
So, why that? Like, I'm just curious. Why was he not just there? Why is he hammering something with a sledgehammer? Was it to show off his biceps or something?
Yes, totally the reason. I thought, like, okay, if he's got a tight shirt on, and he's got the big sledgehammer in his...
And he had it pump up.
And it pumped up before every scene. And basically, there's a lot of motion there that shows off the muscles.
It reminds me of Rambo 2 as well.
Yeah, it's a little like
opening of Rambo 2.
Right.
Stallone kind of has the same thing.
Right.
Harrison, I was going to ask you this, is in regards to your lines. Obviously, there's a lot of ad-lib outs, right? Is there any lines that people come up and just shout out to you, or certain lines that stick out to you?
Well, one for sure is
Lionheart!
There's just so many good, hey man, you can fight, you can't count with the shit, goddamn. Like
Yeah, boy, you're a good fighter, boy, but you can't count with the shit, goddammit. Give me my goddamn money, hey!
stuff like that. All of that stuff is it's so good.
Yeah. But most of it. I mean, I've had a lot of people say a lot of things about that show. If there was anything you could go back and change or add to your character,
You know what?
what would it be?
That's a damn good person. Because there's a scene, the scene where no matters. Water. Yeah.
What's that?
The scene that was a little bit controversial was a scene with me and him. I come in the room. I'm coming in backwards because I'm looking at nobody out there, but there are the people who are supposed to be there. And he's sitting there, and we have this thing about, hey man, hey, what's the matter with you? He's hurt. He's hurt. And I said, you ain't gonna do nothing.
You're talking about the scene we did in the house.
Where
He's hit him and he's got the ball.
Beat the guy, I have to. You don't have to do shit, motherfucker, but get yourself all fucked up like I did. Is that what you want?
I got to tell you about that scene.
Oh, you want to? Okay, go ahead.
We had an assistant director at the time who quit after that scene because I wanted to rehearse that scene with nobody in the room. Generally, you rehearse the stuff on the set, and you've got the script supervisor and the cinematographer and the assistant director. Everybody's in there taking notes, and the actors. I feel the actors will sometimes feel a bit intimidating. They won't really let themselves go.
And that's a pivotal scene.
Yeah, really, it is. It was, yeah, and I felt that too. So I told this assistant director, we're going to rehearse this scene. I don't want anybody else in the room. Just me, Jean-Claude, and Harrison. And he was just incensed. And he actually ended up quitting the show after that.
Almost a big
Really, huh?
Almost a big deal.
Because he was the assistant director. He felt he was supposed to be in their scene, how we were going to do the scene. But I didn't want anybody else in there because I wanted to work this out with the actors. Yeah. I didn't know exactly how I wanted to do it. And we needed to rehearse it without people breathing down our necks. So basically I said, I don't want anybody else in the room. Now, when we shoot it, then everybody else should be there. But I want to get the scene set up with just the actors and basically just see how your emotions are going to be. And that's a pretty damn good scene.
What was it you said you'd adjust? It would be me. I would adjust because I thought I was a little louder than I should have been, but I was feeling that. I was feeling that loud thing.
You needed to be loud there because, you thought he was hurt himself.
Yeah, I know. There's an actor thing that happens. Am I real here? Am I real? I just question it a little bit.
Well, I think too, what I got out of that character, that scene from you being loud is also, you're kind of also in your own mind pissed off at yourself for doing what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? So it's like you're yelling at him, but at the same time, you're yelling at yourself.
I was just thinking.
That's what I got.
What I was thinking about that this morning. I said, yeah, man, you had to be like that.
That was something
You had problem
acting. And Jean-Claude's really good there too.
That scene's fucking,
This is what fucks you up and leaves you bleeding on the motherfucking ground with nobody to give a two-bit shit about your ass. Look, Lionheart, nobody gives a shit about you but you, man. Nobody.
Isn't that funny? Everybody likes it, and I'm going, yeah, that's too loud.
Yeah, but that's why your heart's in it. That's why I wanted everybody out of the room. I didn't want.
Yeah, I didn't want. When you shot the scene, you had the crew back in.
I had the crew back in. Yeah. Because then, you've got to have the sound.
Well, I just thought maybe you had a skeleton crew there. Just it was literally.
It was a very small.
Well, sometimes when you're on set, you see a small, simple scene, and there's like two actors. That's it.
Right.
And then look, and there's like 50 people in the room.
Yeah. Well, generally, that's the kind of protocol you have when you're doing for a sex scene. Yeah. Okay. You basically like a double impact. The sex scene you did there, but I ended up having to have a number of people there.
Intimacy coordinator and all that jazz. Was an intimacy coordinator? They didn't have that back then? No. Well, they got that now.
Now they got it. Sheldon was the intimacy coordinator. I was the intimacy. No, Jean-Claude was the intimacy.
Like in the intimacy scene that I was
in. The girl was not feeling comfortable, and Jean-Claude says, "So, okay, somebody would get a bottle of wine."
Okay.
We got to get her.
We're talking about double impact.
double impact.
So now to go back to Lionheart, where did you shoot the scene where Jean-Claude's in the bed and he wakes up and Cynthia is doing lat pull downs? Was that a set or was that actually in a hotel?
That was in it was not a hotel. It was it's a building downtown. I forgot what it's called. And the penthouse, whoever owned the building, this is something that was built in the 1920s. There's a spectacular penthouse, and the location manager showed it to me, and I thought this is the perfect place to have Cynthia's apartment. So it's not in the same building that you see for the exterior. It's different.
So when you see Jean-Claude get out of the bed and he goes into the bathroom and we see his fine-toned glutes.
Right.
Is that in the script or is that Jean-Claude just
Just say we see his ass.
Didn't I tell you about this before?
Well, you did, but let's just for other hear it again.
Okay, basically we're so he's got the robe on. He's got no clothes on otherwise, and so we shoot the scene once, and he leans over and says that, "Hey, what if I drop the robe?" And
He says to you,
quietly, yeah. I said, "Well, look, we got the shot with the robe on, so yeah, go ahead and drop it. We'll have an alternate."
Life. I'm taking you shopping today if I have to drag you, kicking and screaming.
So so for the second take, he dropped the robe.
Did the crew have any clue that he was about to do that?
I don't think so.
That.
And
The ladies liked it.
Yeah.
I think a lot of guys liked it too. I think everybody liked it.
but that was the very first ass shot
Yeah,
Jean-Claude ever did, and
And then it became like a.
Well, he got close in Bloodsport, but he had underwear on it.
yeah.
Yeah.
But then then it basically became something that you expected in all of the Van Damme movies. You got to see his ass.
Sheldon, you had mentioned prior when we had chatted that there was one thing that you would have probably went back and changed would be that tattoo.
Yeah, the tattoo is a pain in the ass.
And tell us why.
That was my idea to do the tattoo, because it kept rubbing off. And nowadays they have different tattoos that they can use that'll
It won't come off.
it won't come off. They won't
Rub that thing.
Yeah, but from shot to shot, like in some of the shots, just the tattoo looks perfect, and others it's kind of wiped away by those
The pool setting for sure.
by that suit that Jean-Claude had on. And I originally I wanted both of them to just be in just shorts, okay? It's a swimming pool, so like swimming shorts. But Jean-Claude wanted to do
The singlets.
yeah, is that what it's
It's
called?
called a singlet. Yeah.
Yeah. So we ended up doing that with Jean-Claude and with Paco, just so there'd be some consistency. I think it looks pretty damn cool in those outfits. It's probably better than if they would have had no shorts.
Well, I kind of like the angle that this movie took in regards to the wardrobe and the fights because it shows more of a realistic kind of thing. Whereas a lot of the times when you have fights in movies, it's like the two fighters are just shirtless with shorts or jeans. One of the things that stood out in this is everybody's got like the guy from Speakman.
Right.
Everybody had their kind of different, unique take and twist to their character, which what stands out. That's what makes the movie great.
Let me talk about our costume designer. Okay, this guy Joseph Poros, and Jean-Claude brought him on from Death War, I believe. And Joseph, I hit it off right away with Joseph. Jean-Claude loved Joseph. We ended up using him on Double Impact also. Actually, there was another, like kind of a big name costume designer on Double Impact at first. Jean-Claude didn't get along with her. I think her name was Deborah Scott. She's become kind of a big deal as far as costume design. But Jean-Claude was not getting along with her, did not like what she was designing. And so he said, let's get Joseph. So Joseph took over on Double Impact. And Joseph did a great job on Lionheart. Like those Cynthia's outfits especially. Yeah. She's got some terrific outfits that she wears. That was all Joseph. And then Joseph got introduced to Roland Emmerich on Universal Soldier.
Yeah.
Because Jean-Claude brought along that one too. And Joseph ended up doing every Roland Emmerich movie. after that. So
Take us back to how does, for the audience, how does Lionheart take off? Take us back to the first conversation with you and somebody somewhere somehow. Where does Lionheart come from?
oh, it comes from Jean-Claude.
Right, but how? Take
He
us
came
through,
up with this idea.
because it's loosely based
Yeah.
on Hard Times.
Well, very loosely, because Jean-Claude and I were both fans of Hard Times.
But did the idea come kind of, oh, we could do something like that? Were you a bare knuckle fighter?
Maybe. I'm really not sure. It's funny. I had a meeting with Walter Hill a few years afterwards, and he says, he had a jokingly like, so I hear you ripped off my movie Hard Times.
We both liked the picture called Hard Times. Charles Bronson.
I said, oh, Walter, that was an homage to Hard Times. We weren't ripping you off. But yeah, Jean-Claude and I we were fans of we were both fans of Charles Bronson, fans of Walter Hill, and so we liked that movie quite a bit. And it did influence us, but Jean-Claude's the one that came up with Wrong Bet. But they have this fight, and the manager in Hard Times was James Coburn. So we kind of based Joshua was loosely based on James Coburn in Hard Times. And Jean-Claude's twist was that he bets against Jean-Claude in the final fight. And then Jean-Claude tells him, wrong bet.
Wrong bet.
That's a great transition.
Yeah, that was the basis for the movie, was basically wrong bet. And that was our title. In fact, I've got, I think you saw some of the call sheets. They even say wrong bet on it.
I have a copy of it.
Yeah. So that was that was before we came up with Lionheart. So that was really the basis of it. Was Jean-Claude coming up with this idea, and he came up with the idea of the sister-in-law and the brother being killed. We originally were going to show some other scenes with the brother. We even cast. We were going to have some scenes when they were kids in France. The two brothers. We even cast a couple of young actors, and we decided not to shoot that, which was, I think, a good. Wouldn't help anything.
You didn't need it.
Right. So, so it was basically wrong bet, and then it just morphed into different iterations. Yeah.
Well, what about a second one? I mean, I'm sure there was talks immediately about a second one. I know that we always wanted.
I don't want to cut you off.
No, go for it.
I just think that, if it was second, how does that fit into the fact that the first one, he doesn't go for vengeance,
Right.
goes to take care of his brother's family.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Is there a place there? Maybe they can go there now a bit. I don't know if you want to do a second one.
I did have a whole idea for a second one. I don't want to go into it right now.
Well, it's kind of a pointless conversation.
It's a fight.
I just know that, immediately with it blowing up, what does the studios do nowadays? Oh, well, we got to do a second one. Even back then, it was kind of the same thing. What was it that held up the possibility?
So Neil Shaw actually, I had a meeting with them. They wanted me to direct Lionheart 2. They commissioned some British guy to write a script, and I thought the script was not good. I was not happy with the script. But I told Sunil, the big problem is Jean-Claude didn't want to do the sequel. So who are we going to get to play the lead role in the sequel? And I didn't know anybody at the time who I thought could do it.
Yeah, because Jean-Claude wasn't there. Like, there was Bloodsport 2, there was Kickboxer 2, 3, Bloodsport 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
Right.
Jean-Claude was not into sequels at that time period.
Right.
That was probably one of the reasons why. I think if Jean-Claude wanted to do a sequel to Bloodsport, Kickboxer, and Lionheart, they all would have happened at the time.
100%.
Right. Yeah, he didn't want to do
They
them.
didn't want to do them at that point in time, yeah. So Sheldon, it's made in 89-90. It's released in 1990. As of July the 25th, 1991, Lionheart had made over $22.5 million. It was Van Damme's top box office at that point.
Hey, man, what the hell?
And what was the budget on this film? Do you remember?
They would not show me the budget. Okay?
Is it that normal?
Yeah, it was normal. Basically, you're gonna have enough money to make the. That was
Well,
what they.
as of 1991, it's 22.5 million and up. How are you and Jean-Claude feeling about it that time? Does it exceed your expectations? Or?
Co-scripting and directing Lionheart is Sheldon Lettich.
So he figures, I can get this guy fighting, I can make a lot of money.
Or is it just no?
It exceeded everybody's expectations, because nobody. I told the crew was expecting it to be some low budget choppy sake that would not do any better than in Bloodsport or Kickball. Actually, Bloodsport. Look, even Bloodsport was not a huge hit back then. Bloodsport's reputation has grown over the years.
Okay, Sheldon, a pleasure and an honor. Thank you. We'll have you back for part 2.
Okay.
Harrison, a pleasure and honor. Thank you very much. We'll have you back for part 2.
Being here, Harrison. Honestly, Sheldon, you know I love you.
All right.
Always a good one.
Yeah, buddy.
Cut.
Absolutely.